The Earth is ancient, older than the oldest civilizations, older than the tallest mountains, older than the oceans that surround our continents today. And deep within this planet, far beneath our feet, vast chambers of molten rock. Breathe slowly, silently, waiting for the perfect moment to rise. Most of the time, the Earth remains calm. Its surface seems peaceful, stable, predictable. But sometimes that peace is an illusion. Sometimes the Earth reminds us that it is alive. This is one of those moments. In the dry, rugged landscapes of northeastern Ethiopia, within a region shaped by geological forces for millions of years, something extraordinary happened. A volcano, silent for nearly 12,000 years, suddenly erupted. No warning, no build-up, no weeks of tremors hinting at what was coming. Just a sudden awakening. A burst of energy that shot high into the East African sky and changed everything. This is the story of the Haile Gubby eruption, a story that takes us into the heart of the Earth's most unpredictable forces. A story of ancient silence, violent awakening, scientific mystery, and the possibility that what happened once might happen again. It was early morning on November 23rd, 2025, when the eruption began. Local time, around 11:30. Universal time, about 08:30. People in surrounding villages were starting their day, tending livestock, preparing food, walking long dusty paths to gather water. No one expected anything unusual. The volcano had no history in living memory. No one alive, nor their parents, nor their great-grandparents, had ever seen it erupt. For the communities around it, it was just another mountain, a landmark, a shape on the horizon. And then it happened. Without warning, a massive column of ash exploded upward with incredible force. Within seconds, the sky turned gray. Light dimmed, air pressure shifted, the ground trembled briefly, and a sound, deep, powerful, ancient, rolled across the landscape. People looked up in shock as the sky filled with ash, rising faster than anything they had ever witnessed. The ash plume climbed higher and higher until it reached nearly 45,000 feet, more than 13 kilometers into the atmosphere. At that altitude, commercial aircraft travel daily. But at that moment, the sky became a threat. Pilots and flight controllers quickly rerouted aircraft. Airlines issued immediate warnings. Ash and jet engines do not mix. When volcanic ash melts inside a jet turbine, it turns into glass. It can destroy engines mid-flight. The eruption continued to push ash outward, sending it drifting over Ethiopia, Eritrea, Djibouti, Yemen, Oman, and far into the Arabian Sea. Hours later, weather agencies detected the ash cloud moving toward northern India. For a short time, some models suggested the ash might reach Pakistan, but shifting winds redirected it before it arrived. International meteorological agencies issued updates every hour, tracking the plume as it traveled across continents. Down on the ground, the impact was immediate. Fine volcanic ash began falling on villages near the eruption site. It coated rooftops, trees, goats, cattle, crops, and water supplies. This ash may look soft, but it is made of tiny shards of volcanic glass. It can cut into plant leaves, contaminate food and water, and irritate human lungs and eyes. Farmers watched their grazing lands turn gray. Some animals became sick. The ash made breathing difficult. Life changed in a single day, and yet the damage could have been far worse. There were no major casualties, no massive lava flows, no pyroclastic surges speeding across the land. The eruption, while powerful, was mostly an ash explosion, violent, dramatic, but limited in ground destruction compared to eruptions like Krakatoa or Mount St. Helens. Still, something about this eruption deeply concerned scientists. This volcano was not considered active, not even restless, not even on a list of monitored high-risk volcanoes. It had been dormant for nearly 12,000 years. That is longer than the entire history of the Egyptian pyramids, longer than human written history itself. Civilizations had risen and fallen during the time this volcano slept. Empires had been born and destroyed. And through all of it, Haile Gubby remained silent. So why now? What changed inside the Earth after thousands of years of stillness? To understand this, we have to look deep beneath the surface, into the Great Rift Valley of East Africa. This region is one of the most geologically active places on Earth. The African continent is slowly splitting into two massive pieces. Tectonic plates are pulling apart centimeter by centimeter each year. When plates move, magma rises to fill the space left behind. This process creates volcanoes. Most remain active. Some erupt often, others erupt rarely, and some remain silent for so long that humans forget they are volcanoes at all. Haile Gubby belongs to that last category, a dormant volcano that only wakes up when underground pressure becomes too great. Scientists now believe magma had been rising slowly for many decades, maybe even centuries. without anyone noticing. There were no major earthquakes, no gas emissions, no thermal anomalies, just unseen pressure building beneath the crust until it finally broke through. This is why the eruption sent shockwaves across the global scientific community. If a volcano can awaken after 12,000 years with almost no warning, what does that say about the thousands of other dormant volcanoes around the world? Could more ancient volcanoes wake up suddenly? Could this eruption be a sign of deeper geological changes happening in the Rift Valley? As scientists study satellite images and seismic data, they are discovering clues that suggest this eruption was not an isolated event. Deep in the Earth, magma channels appear to be shifting. Pressure zones are changing. The crust beneath East Africa is thinning slowly as the continent splits apart. In geological terms, this region is preparing for a transformation, transformation that could one day form a new ocean. This eruption may be just one small step in that long process, but it signals that the Earth's interior is more active than previously believed. Now comes the critical question. Could this volcano erupt again soon? The answer is yes, it's possible. Volcanoes rarely erupt once and then go quiet forever. After a major eruption, magma often continues to rise. New cracks can form beneath the surface. Gas pressure can build again. Sometimes a second eruption happens days later, sometimes months, and sometimes the real eruption comes after the first explosion. Right now, scientists are watching the area closely. Instruments are measuring ground, deformation, tiny changes in the landscape that reveal rising magma. Gas sensors are analyzing sulfur dioxide levels. Satellites are detecting heat signatures from beneath the surface. Every piece of data is important, because the next eruption, if it happens, could be bigger. What kind of damage could a second eruption cause? If the next eruption is stronger, the ash cloud could travel farther, affecting more countries. Air traffic across East Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia could face major disruptions. A larger eruption could also release lava flows, threatening villages directly. Heavy ashfall could damage crops, create water shortages, and cause respiratory problems. If winds blow the ash towards South Asia, cities across Pakistan or India could experience haze, flight delays, and reduced visibility. It's also possible that the eruption could trigger small earthquakes in the region. When magma rises, it pushes against the surrounding rock, causing tremors. So far, only mild seismic activity has been recorded, but that could change. Scientists emphasize that there is no immediate large-scale global threat, but the region is in a state of geological awakening, and that alone is significant. For the people living near the volcano, uncertainty is the greatest challenge. Life has always been difficult in this part of Ethiopia. Hot climate, limited water, dry land. Now they must face a new question. Will their home remain safe? For the world, this eruption is a reminder that our planet is still evolving, that ancient mountains we think of as peaceful can spring to life, that even in modern times when science has advanced more than ever before, nature still surprises us. Across the globe, volcanologists are now re-evaluating dormant volcanoes. Regions once considered safe are being reassessed. The Haile Gubby eruption has become a case study, an example of how unpredictable dormant volcanoes can be. The ash cloud from this eruption has already shown how far-reaching volcanic events can be. One eruption in Ethiopia affected flight paths across the Middle East and South Asia. It impacted air quality in multiple regions. It changed weather patterns for days. Volcanic ash, when it enters the upper atmosphere, can reflect sunlight and temporarily cool temperatures. Scientists are monitoring whether this eruption will have any short-term climate effects. As the days pass, the landscape around the volcano remains covered in dark gray ash. Trees stand like shadows. Animals walk slowly, searching for clean grazing areas. Farmers worry about food, water, and the survival of their livestock. Emergency teams distribute supplies. Scientists conduct surveys. International organizations offer support. Yet even through the challenges, the people of Ethiopia remain resilient. They have endured drought, famine, conflict, and hardship. A volcanic eruption is just another test, and they face it with remarkable strength. Far away from Ethiopia, audiences around the world watch satellite images, read updates, and learn about a volcano many had never heard of before. Haile Gubby has now entered global conversation. It has become a symbol of how unpredictable nature can be, a reminder that even in quiet places, ancient forces remain alive. And now, the world waits to see if the volcano will settle back into silence, or if this eruption is only the beginning of a new chapter in the geological history of East Africa. This is not just a story about a volcano. It is a story about our planet, a planet that breathes, a planet that changes, a planet that reminds us, again and again, that we are small compared to the forces beneath our feet.